Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of Crypto Sports Week. This is the final event of the day. Today we are joined by Roman, Brian, and Raul from Zed Run, and they're going to be giving us a little kind of overview of what Zed Run is and kind of show us what's going on with Zed Run. So take it away, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be part of the Crypto Sports Week here. We're so excited about all the things that are going on at Zed Run right now. We have with me integral parts of the Zed Run familia. I'm Roman. I'm the head of partnerships here at Virtual Human Studios, the company behind Zed Run. And I'll let the two gentlemen introduce themselves who are alongside with me.
After you, Rahul.
Sure. I'm Rahul, and I'm the co-founder of Unicorn and also an early investor in Zed, and a regular part of Zed's community.
I am Brian. I also go by Zed Chateau on Twitter and YouTube, and I'm just a dude that found this game a couple months ago, and I haven't really stopped playing it since.
That's right. You're one of our premier content creators and help so many people who are just starting out. It can be a little bit overwhelming, the Zed universe. And for those of you who are new with us, Brian makes some amazing content, Zed Chateau. You can find him on YouTube. And he makes some excellent videos as to kind of give you an overview of what these digital horses are all about. If you haven't heard, there's definitely some hype around what Zed Run is. And it's a lot of fun. You can see some horses racing as we speak. The fun never stops. But to kick us off, Brian, I'm going to be showing one of your videos that gives the viewers an idea of what to expect when they first log on to Zed Run. Let's cue this up. And away we go.
Hey there, friends. I want to talk to you for just a minute about this game that I've been playing like crazy lately. It's called Zed Run. It's a digital horse racing game, but man, it is so much more than that. So I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talking about non-fungible tokens lately.
Christie's auction for digital artist Beeple coming to a close a few moments ago. The final bid, David? $69 million.
Oh my God.
It's just so obvious to me. And so non-fungible tokens are going to be a big part of all of your lives. I really believe that.
But what you may not have heard about last week is that someone also spent $125,000 on a digital racehorse. That horse, his name was Billions, and he's part of this ecosystem that Zed Run is building. All of the horses, NFTs. So you buy a horse and then you own that horse. You can race the horse, you can bet on the races, you can bet on other people's races too if you get a shitty horse. Then you can take your horse and you can breed your horses together, or you can breed with other people's horses, and then you can sell the offspring. God damn, it's so fucking rad. And I've just been addicted to this game over the last couple of weeks, and it's crazy to say that I'm addicted to a game where a digital horse races every few hours, and he loses constantly. His name's Turn On Access. He's terrible. Oh man, he loses consistently. He's awful, but damn it, I love him. I've got another horse named Chain Connection. He's done 3 races. He did terrible his first 2 races, then he won his 3rd race. So I kind of put him on the shelf. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about this game before I jump into a race with him. So there's another drop coming up. They're releasing more horses on Friday, April 2nd, which is today. Hopefully this video uploaded in time. So fingers crossed, I'm going to try and snag a couple more horses, build out the old Chateau Cambria. It's my stable name. I know nothing about horses, so I literally Googled horse words. I Googled horse words, and Chateau came up, and Cambria is my daughter's name, so we're Chateau Cambria. That is our stable. Daddy's gonna root for the black horse again this time. Who do you want to root for? Ooh, there's a white horse. Let's see. Ooh, a green horse. Yeah, or a blue horse. Or an orange horse. Which one do you think's gonna win this time? The green one? Yeah. Okay. Well, Benny's going for that black one right there in the middle. Chain connection, boy. There they go. The black one won! Wow. Go chain connection. Look at him go. Wow. That was cool, huh? Oh, geez. Sorry, King. Your green guys did not do very. Hopefully, maybe I'll have an update. Maybe a little update video where I have more than just these two mediocre to terrible horses. So, subscribe, like. I don't know. What do you do here? I don't know. Don't call me. I'll call you. That's right. Oh, we're gonna play room now. Okay. Signing off here from Zed quarters. Let's go play in the playroom. Huh?
Yeah, you.
I'm coming. Let's go. Let's go play with someone.
Excellent. I've watched that like 200 times. I love that video. It does a great job at outlining, the fun of Zed. It's a family fun affair, and it can be just that, just racing your horses. But there's so much more to the game. Raul, do you want to talk a little bit about what's so fascinating about Zed early on, and the things and features of Zed that you enjoy most?
Yeah, well, I think given the space that my company is in, we sit at the intersection of video games and esports and regulated wagering, and we're also kind of pioneers in the crypto space in this type of business. We actually, Chris, the CEO of Zed, got in touch with me a couple of years ago, actually closer to maybe like a little over 2 years ago. And then he also got in touch with Carl, my business partner, in Australia. We have an office in Australia, and he just kind of shared this crazy vision for a gaming platform. Didn't talk about NFTs. He didn't talk about the blockchain component first. He actually just made it about, we want people to be able to buy, trade, race, breed racehorses in an ecosystem that is that creates like attachment and community love for the product. I don't know how else to describe it, but essentially the magic of what we've seen develop is this game that has a nostalgic element to it. There's a lot of people that like horse racing, and they've made it, they've catered it to a much younger audience. So we love that vision of what they were doing. And then when he talked about building it on the blockchain with NFTs, it was like a no-brainer for us to get involved. And back then, this was just as the market was tanking. The crypto market had been through like hell. And it was a tough space to innovate in, because a lot of people were still feeling the burn of 2017. Regulators coming in and making it difficult or confusing even to innovate in the space and that kind of thing. But we really believed in Chris and Rob and their vision. And so we just jumped in with both feet, and ever since we've envisioned a day where eventually people will be able to legally bet on the outcome of races from bookmakers all around the world. So yeah, I think that sort of sums it up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a certain magic to Zed. As a game, as a platform, you see people from all ages, all demographics across the world jumping in and really getting excited about and attached to their horses. Zed Chateau, Brian here, you were one of those people, or you are one of those people who kind of
absolutely
stumbled into the Zed and used it as use springboard content, but beyond that, educate the community. Can you tell us a little bit about your Zed journey and how you got started, and an overview of what really drew you to the game?
Yeah, so I found Zed through just a random tweet one night in March, somebody posted a picture of the race, and not even like a link to it or what it was. It was just a screenshot of the horses racing, and I was like, what is this? Like, I need to drop everything. And about 10, 15 minutes of just intense Google searches later, I found it. And I don't think the website is closed from my browser ever since. It is just so awesome. And then on to piggyback on what Rahul was talking about with being able to bet on it. Just the potential in the future to be able to go out to a bar with some friends and just throw down like small amounts of money to be able to buy a horse and then throw it in some races that night. It's just going to be, I'm really excited for the future. It's going to be so cool. Yeah,
it's super exciting. And there are probably a bunch of people wondering who are watching, how do I get a horse? Like, where do I start? So to give you an overview of how the horses are broken down, what makes them valuable, what's one horse better than another, I'll do my best to explain. And we'll start with the Genesis collection. So there will be 38,000 Genesis horses ever minted by Zed. The rest of the horses in the ecosystem will be bred from these said horses. The horses are organized in Z numbers or Zed numbers, which I should have learned a long time ago that Zed was Z in Australia. It's an Australian-based company. So the basis of these horses are organized into 10 Z types or Z types. Z1 and Z2, there will be 1,000 of each ever minted. These are the Nakamotos, named after Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of Bitcoin. And they are the most sought after assets in our entire ecosystem. They have the most desirable attributes that you'll find in racehorses when starting a championship lineage through breeding or just racing. The Z1 and Z2 are the Nakamotos. The Z3 and the Z4 are the Zabos. Z5 through Z7 are the Finnies. And then Z8 through Z10 are the Buterins. The lower the Z type, the cheaper the horse. So a lot of you guys who are just starting out may want to shoot for getting a Z10 at drop. We drop these horses intermittently over an undisclosed amount of time. So basically our last drop was last week. Some of you may have been involved. And if you were lucky, you were able to grab a horse. Personally, I was not. The fervor for these horses are unprecedented. It's insane. And to give you an idea of kind of how this is a yield-bearing asset, to give you an idea of why these NFTs are kind of one of a kind. They're the first breathing NFT. What I mean by that is they can pass down their genes from themselves. So you have a Z1, two Z1 horses, a Z2 horse, and they pass down the specific genes that our algorithm has assigned them on the blockchain, and you get something completely new. And then you can sell said offspring. We'll get into a little bit about what the breeding ecosystem looks like, and it completely emulates a real stud farm. And then we'll go into a little bit of what makes a great racer. But if you're new here, that's kind of an overview of how the Zed hierarchy for horses looks like. And the prices range. There are some nutty prices for these horses going on, as alluded to in Brian's video. Billions went for $125,000, and the Z1s tend to go for around $50,000 to $60,000 on the market right now. So Brian, can you talk a little bit about racing? What are some of the things that maybe tips for beginners or what people should know when just getting started in racing their horse?
Yeah, so the racing, it's split into 5 classes. Class 1 is, your horse starts out with a certain number of points. The horses are split into the classes based on a point score. So if you have a Nakamoto, you're going to start out with, I don't know the exact numbers, like 40 or 50 points to start. So you automatically get put into like class 2 with a Nakamoto. And don't quote me on that because I don't have a Nakamoto, so I'm not totally sure with that. But then with the lower horses, Buterins and Finnies, you're racing in class 4 or 5, a little bit lesser competition. But yeah, so there's different, there's free races that you can jump into, or there's different tiers, $2.50, $5, $10, $15 races that you jump into, and then first, second, third place gets paid out. I don't know the exact numbers, but third place gets their money back. And yeah, so not all the horses I have. Gosh, I think I'm up to 14 horses now in my stable, and honestly, two or three of them are solid racers. I don't have anybody that's like blowing up the track, or I don't have anything crazy like that. But I've got some fun horses that just hold their own in class 4 and 5. But yeah, their breeding hasn't really been opened up yet. Maybe that we can segue a little bit, but some of these horses that aren't the best racers, I'm just hanging on to them, hoping they'll be good breeders. But man, when I got my first like solid racer and he won his first couple races, like they're just so stoked. Like it was so exciting to be like, man, this is my guy. Like he just won. Like I got like $7, whatever. It's not about the money, but honestly, I bought him on the secondary market for like $200 at the time. And he's up to like $1,500 prize money. So do we need to say this is not financial advice? But I'm having a hell of a time with that horse. So, and he's a lowly class 5 legendary veteran. So there's a lot of opportunities to have a good time.
Yeah, no, there certainly is. And somebody who kind of is just jumping in and beginning to rate horse for myself, there's definitely a lot to learn, and that you can basically track your horse. A lot of people kind of, a common question that is, how do we play? Is there a way we can train our horse to be better than another horse? And to that I say, the way you can be better at Zed is to more fully understand how your horse races. Using the amazing community that we have in Zed, and Brian, you are a part of that community, leveraging the tools that are there to track data to really tell, do I have a sprinter? Do I have a horse that is a better 1,000-meter runner than a 1,400-meter runner, than a 1,600-meter runner? It should be said that there are different distances that horses can race in, ranging from 1,000 meters all the way up to 2,600 meters. So you really don't know how good your horse is and how consistent it can be until you really put the time in and learn your horse. I think that discovery process is part of the most fun I've ever had on a game, and it's part of the reason why I became so obsessed with this company and game that I ended up working for them. But I think that's like by design. Raul, maybe you could talk a little bit about how that has evolved and the game has kind of evolved into something where you're able to really kind of build a connection with your horses.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a few things. So I think one of the more compelling things that I've seen is this app that the team created a couple years ago, or a little over a year ago, anyways. And it was in the Apple iOS store. It'll come back, but it's in the Android store, anyways. And it's a cool app. It's a Zed Run app you can download, and you can load your stable up on it. And then you can take a horse and place it anywhere in the real world. You can change the size of it. Like for example, I went across. I was riding my bike across the 520 bridge in Seattle, and I took out one of the horses and put it on the bridge and made it larger than the Space Needle, and took pictures and that sort of thing with it. It's really cool. And it's like stuff like that makes the the game that much more interesting. And it's like almost like you can reach out and touch and feel your horse kind of thing. And it's creating a connection with the community that is hard to replicate. I guess when I look at other projects in the space, or just in general NFT projects, I really think Zed has the most comprehensive, or probably the best NFT project in the world, really, because it's got all the elements of a great game. It has multiple stakeholders, including people that own horses, trade them, breed them, analysts, race them, and then ultimately you'll have stable owners. You can own a stable of horses that you don't have to clean the barn. You win prize money. You get the full history of your horse. You can take your horses around and you get more attachment with them in the real world. And then in the future, with the gambling part, there's other stakeholders as well. So it really is a really, really in-depth platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think you nailed it. And there's so much you can do, and how it kind of crosses the bridge into the real world. And actually, we've seen Virtually Human Studios and Zed partner with real world horse racing. Actually, as recently as this week, we did a partnership with the Preakness, which I think is really, really cool. And what we ended up doing was we Preakness NFT'd classic historic races here that you can own as a moment, similar to NBA Top Shot, in that kind of the NFT is an instrument of a clip into the history of the sport that you get to own. And with this moment becomes a unique Zed Preakness piece of art. And this piece of art is pretty cool because it actually comes with a Z10, which has access to an exclusive Preakness skin, which is housed right here. And skins are a really cool part of the game. This is the first of its kind, and it kind of gives you a peek behind the curtain of where things will go and how the user can express themselves as they see fit and really dress up the horse based on kind of the passion and the connectivity they have to real world racing, and then beyond that with other brands. So I think this is an amazing partnership. The bids and auctions are up on OpenSea right now. You can go to PreaknessStakesNFT.com right now and check out what we got. It's certainly a groundbreaking partnership, and it just goes to show you how much the NFT space is bridging that gap between the metaverse and kind of, real world horse racing. Albeit, I think there is a place for NFT carrots. I've been pushing for that. I think getting my hands on the fruits and vegetables and NFTing it could be cool, but that's really not at the top of the priority list right now. But something I wanted to point out here for everyone. And then beyond that, there's also some cool NFT artists that have created some one-of-a-kind artwork that are up for auction as well. So certainly no shortage of buzz going around in the Zed universe at the moment. I feel like we should take a moment to kind of maybe answer some questions from the live chat. And I can go and kind of pick some out. I feel like we haven't covered breeding in the sense of how the mechanics work behind it.
Roman, what can you tell us about breeding? When breeding, Roman?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So breeding is a huge part of our ecosystem, and it plays into how the horse is a yield-bearing asset for the user. So when you have a stud horse or an amazing horse that is a great racer, typically that means that the offspring of said horse would be more desirable. So you can put your horse up on a stud farm and charge a fee for mares or fillies to come and breed with it. So it's an amazing, amazing mechanic, and it populates the ecosystem with so many freak racers. You get the parents of, the greats like Ducky Mallon, and even Stephanie is a bred horse, which is absolutely kills it. And you get people are really trying to dial in and figure out, how do these genetics pass from one horse to another? How do we dial into inbreeding these horses? How do twins work? Where and when should I breed? And how do the coats, which we haven't even touched on, affect the breeding and racing? So each horse has a different coat. You can see them on the screen right now. There's a cacophony of different colors, and each one kind of signifies a different level of rarity. So you have horses have a common coat. The great majority of horses have a common coat. And then you have rare and then super rare. And if you breed two super rare horses together, or any horse really with a similar coat to another horse, so you have two, let's say, goldenrod horses, which is one of our rarer coats, you have a chance to get a super coat. But then again, you may not. It's one of those things where you really have to, just like in genetics, you have to win, quote unquote, the genetic lottery. So, as I'm chatting about this, and as I'm saying all of these different factors about Zed, there's a depth to this game, which makes it, a completely amazing kind of community-based platform. You can come on and just race your horses. That's kind of how I started. That's how everyone starts, I feel like. You get a horse on drop, you get lucky, you buy one from somebody on the secondary market on Discord. Be sure to join our Discord. That's where a lot of the community members impart their wisdom. But beyond just the horse racing aspect, there's an entirely deep ecosystem that you can tap into. And the breeding is such a strong component of that. It brings different members of the community together, breeds amazing horses. And there's things in the algorithm that we haven't even tapped into that we're seeing that are freaking awesome. So, the provably fair base platform that we have facing is secure, it's fun. And once you get beyond racing, there's so much more to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I am really looking forward to the breeding opening back up.
I guess that's the big question. When is it opening back up? I keep getting that question. Was that answered, Roman?
You can't get away from it.
Well, this is an amazing kind of trick I've learned. Have you ever played that? There's a game where it's like Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. If you say when breeding, you will. The wisdom of when breeding will actually will be bestowed upon you. So the chat's doing the right thing. Just continue to say when breeding, and in due time, I've
got a breeding video going up on YouTube tomorrow. So I'm really hoping like maybe tomorrow night that'd be perfect timing. What are
you covering in your video?
It was the first time breeding was open a month ago, whenever that was. I was able to go in and breed one horse from Breathless Edge's son, Alt F4. So it's just a video showing the experience of going in and breeding with through the stud farm.
And why did you pick Breathless Edge?
I was new. I'd only been playing for a couple weeks, and Breathless Edge, obviously one of the more popular horses in the game. He's got that chartreuse coat, the bright green coat that Alt F4 also has the same coat. I don't know. He was also minimum fee, which was like $65. I don't even want to say it out. It was like $65 to breed and knock him out at the time. So I just jumped on it because it was like it was like 1 a.m. when you guys opened up the breeding, so I was half asleep. But yeah, so I just jumped on it just to see what it was all about. And now that I have a full stable, I'm dying to get back in there.
Yeah, I think it's important to also just address the the growth of the platform. I want to say that I've spent years in startups in the tech space and as an investor in multiple companies and that sort of thing. And it's rare to be involved in a business that gets the type of growth and interest that Zed is getting. Like very rare. It's probably the most talked about NFT project in the world right now. It is. We're getting interest from all sorts of very interesting people, from the biggest investors in the world to the biggest celebrities in the world. And I'm not just talking about in the United States. I'm talking about all over the place. And it's really started to create a buzz with brands that I personally haven't seen before in a company that I've been involved with. So with that being said, you're getting tons and tons of people in the community, 24 hours a day. The team is still very small. We had a drop last week that was it was the most successful drop, but it was also a drop where there was just not enough horses for the amount of people that wanted them. So there was some people that were upset. There were some people that were disappointed. There were people that were elated and happy. And in any business like Zed, especially one that's very much community driven, you're always going to have like churn and changes, and and things are just going to keep growing, and that's just the way like a company like this works. One of the biggest things that makes Zed interesting to investors is the aspect of community and the engagement that the community has. And the fact that really the community probably knows more about how to breed, what to breed. They know more about the game theory than say someone internally who is who plays, like someone like myself who plays with the platform and that sort of thing. But maybe I don't spend as much time analyzing it, and that's what makes it interesting. Is there's so much depth to it that community is a very, very integral part of this platform. So I hope that I hope that makes sense. I guess what I will say is a company like this that's experiencing this type of hockey stick growth is going to go through growing pains, and we're going to continue learning and listening to the listening to the community. This is what these guys do, and they're always making changes and adjusting to build a better, greater, stronger product.
Absolutely, and I can attest to that. The Zed community, the Zed staff, and the staff of Virtually Human Studios, we're on the track with the community. We're trying to learn. We're growing together. We've seen so much growth in the last couple weeks, and it's so exciting. I think right now the Zed community, everyone's kind of really looking forward to where we take this, and I think the potential is limitless, and the technology behind it is even more than we really comprehend at the moment. I saw a question.
And I'm sorry, one more thing I want to say, because there's a question in the the community asking about how big the Zed team is. I think it's important to note that there's basically 20 people on the team right now, but over the next few months this team is going to multiply, and they're just looking for really strong developers. Look, creating a game on blockchain is almost impossible. It's very difficult. It's not like creating Rocket League or League of Legends. There's another level of complexity to it that just makes it, that much harder. Things like dealing with gas fees, dealing with Ethereum blockchain, building on Matic, Polygon, as a layer 2. That shit is not easy to do, and therefore we need very talented people to join the team. So so this stuff makes it complex, but it also makes it more of a a community-run platform. So yeah. Hope that helps. Yeah,
I think that's a great point. And for those of you who are new, who come in and say, wait a second, there's money being thrown around on a platform with digital horses, it must be rigged. The itself is built on blockchain technology that's on a provably fair algorithm. So it's no different than really any sport out there at the moment that's simulated. It's a one-of-a-kind experience. It's really thrilling to have your horse out there and racing. Like, I'm watching races happen right now. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I could just even though maybe I can enter one right now and just get to work and kind of get back on the track. So we've seen amazing community creators come out of the woodwork and really kind of uplift the new players. And we have this amazing kind of the senseis of the community, people who have been with the game for over a year, really kind of lending a helping hand to how they should breed and what horses they should breed with. Brian, you had mentioned that you had bred with a horse of yours with Breathless Edge. For those of you guys who don't know, Breathless Edge is one of the iconic horses and champions in the game. And that I'm sure kind of came to you from the top of the community, or should I say from the people who have played a little bit more, and then once you learned, they kind of reached out and extended a helping hand. But as we move forward, there's some amazing things that implemented into the game that will keep users engaged, grow the platform, grow the Zed's contribution in the metaverse in a way that I think is unprecedented that we've seen in the NFT space. I think that the assets of the horse combined with the thrill of the race makes for such a unique experience.
Yeah, and also to tie a couple of things together there also with the skins that you guys are doing now, and then with the brand interest that Raul was talking about, the potential for sponsored horses with these skins, sponsored races, just bigger prize pools. There's just there's so much potential. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start to see, some of that potential unleashed here in the next few months. Like I know a lot of the stuff that's coming up, and it's going to be, it's just going to be bigger and better. There'll be more people joining the community, and you're going to see this game evolve over time to just continue to improve. I don't think so. Somebody just asked, why are paid skins introduced before breeding is fixed? I don't know if that's actually true. I don't think anyone's made that statement for sure. But there's a lot of people asking about breeding, and it's like, wow, maybe
breeding drums. Get some breeding drums out there. When breeding?
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think breeding was paused temporarily because there was some crazy horses being bred for a night, and so they want to work on that a little bit to get it right. But it's on pause right now, but it's coming back. I mean, they tend to work very quickly there, so we'll see it soon.
Yeah, and just one more note on that. The breeding is such an integral part of the game, and we're excited for breeding. We want breeding out there. We want people breeding horses that are going to be the new face of Zed or help contribute, and we can't wait for breeding. So we're working our best to make sure that when breeding comes out, it stays out, or that it becomes the best experience that the users can have. So we're right there with you. We hear you. We want. I think it's like one of the. I've never bred ever, so I guess that's my kind of horse. All my horses are quote unquote virgins in the game. So, and I've left my Genesis horses unraced and unbred on purpose. But man, it's so cool to think that you're able to name your own horse when you do breed with another horse. You're able to really take ownership of that horse. And we've seen some hilarious names and like infamous names pop up. So we hear you. We're there. It's one of our favorite parts of the game too. So I'm excited to get out there and start breeding. You can catch me on the stud farm as well. I'll have a couple horses up there, and hopefully one of you guys in the chat can hook me up if you have a great rare. Let me do some breeding with you. That'd be much appreciated. But I think we have time for about one or two more kind of points, and then
Roman,
we'll begin to wrap this up.
Real quick, I had a question actually on the naming topic. Do you happen to know those Z10s that they're doing with the Preakness? Are those going to have like special historic horse names or anything cool like that?
That's a great question. That's an excellent question, and that right now is something that I actually don't have the answer to, in the sense that I know when you're dealing with two different parties, because the real world universe has horse names, and those horse name lawyers, and those horse lawyers have their own stake and their own agenda. So we are doing our best to bob and weave through what it means to merge a metaverse game with a real.
Throw some numbers and symbols in there or something.
How cool would it be to see an American Pharaoh out on the track racing against some of the best horses like Ducky Malin in the game? I think that would be something that I'd tune into for sure.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So, another question came up. Wow, you're not really going to give an update, are you? All about community, except lately you've done nothing but tick off your best members off. I mean, like, that's I don't want to say that's like not a fair comment, but like it's fair because you're a part of the community, and I get it. You're something irks you, but let me just say, these guys are constantly adding features to the platform, some that you don't see every day. I mean, they're working 24/7, and they are community to them. The community feedback comes in various ways, and they're always taking in feedback. Like even now, I know that a few of the people in the management team are listening into this, and it's. I guess when you run a company like this that's growing the way it is, you kind of have to take it in stride. And sometimes you can't please everybody 100% of the time, but we can continue to try and continue to make it better. And I promise you, that's what's happening. And you will see breeding at some point. I don't want to say it soon, because I know that means to a lot of people. So
no, absolutely. I echo that, and I think that there are Zed community. We're here for you. We hear you. We're with you, and there is so much to be excited about. You go back 6 weeks time, which is literally decades in this fast moving T space, and the amount of growth we've seen is just incredible. So hold your hopes together. We'll get through this, and we're going to see some amazing things come. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to the Crypto Sports Week. This is such an awesome event. We've seen some amazing speakers come on. Go follow Zed Chateau, give him a subscribe and a like. He makes some amazing content for not only beginners, but people who are obsessed with Zed like myself. And then obviously Rahul is an absolutely amazing resource for anyone looking to get in NFTs and have more questions about Zed. So appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, Roman.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
On the track.
Cheers.
These comments are very funny. Some of them are hilarious. My horses are bad at racing. It's really nothing new to me in the game right now. Yeah, I get it. Anyway. Okay, good. So we're private now, right?
We're racing.
Just a second.